Well, there you go. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now four-time NFC South champions after they defeat the New Orleans Saints. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here live from Raymond James Stadium in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show here on the Sports Web. And what can you say? It is what it is. I know that there are phone calls already. We're going to get to those phone calls, but I just want to kind of set the table at this point. Probably the call of the year. And I know, again, there's a lot of Bucs fans out there wanting Todd Bowles fired because of the slow starts by the team, because of the defensive inconsistencies. Yes. And the call for me is 4th and 8, 31 yards. It's 31 yards or 41 yards to Jalen McMillan down the sideline. A ridiculous penalty at that point. But that's got to be the call of the year, and then they get backed up, and they're still able to score after that penalty happens. Welcome to the Evolution.
Incredible win by the Buccaneers, 27-19 over the Saints. It was a tale of two halves as the Saints came out, had a really good game plan, kind of dinking and dunking, getting the ball out quick. The Bucs did not react. They didn't tackle well. The first half, Saints had 189 yards to 44. Time of possession, I think, was 3-1 in the first half. It was, and you got to feel like the Bucs go into halftime, and the sphincter's getting a little bit tight. I mean, you have an opportunity here to wrap up this division against a Saints team that had nothing to play for. Of course, the horrible tragedy that was obviously something that took their focus away this week in New Orleans. And the fact that they had no Chris Olave, no Alvin Kamara, backup quarterback in Spencer Rattler. The Bucs were 14.5-point favorites for a reason.
Yeah.
And then you go out and lay an egg like that in the first half. They got to be. But this team, I mean, the resilience of this team is incredible. And you got to give Todd Bowles some credit for that. This team never freaking panics at all. I mean, that was a time to panic. They didn't.
Yeah.
They came out first possession of that second half and marched it right down the field and got a touchdown, exactly what they needed. All right, so key things in this game. First and foremost, Baker Mayfield's ability to run the football. Third and 14, 27-yard scramble. Third and 6, 13-yard scramble. Time and time again, the Jalen McMillan touchdown throw. He puts it right on the money after a scramble drill. I mean, right in the corner. Great toe tap by Jalen McMillan. The 4th and 8 play. What a freaking throw.
Well, what a call by Todd Bowles, because everybody says
great call. Great call. Yeah.
And a great offensive call by Liam Cohen. And look, at the end of the day, you could kick that field goal. A lot of people say that's not Todd Bowles, but you're putting it all out there on the line.
Now.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Todd Bowles now.
Yes.
And I asked Todd about that in the press conference. I said 4th and 8, what went into that? He said, we could have punted right there because I think it might have been a little bit too far for a field goal. We could have punted right there, but we weren't going to gain a whole lot of yardage. And I was like, yeah, man, that's what we've been talking about for a long time.
Thank you.
Todd has, I think, become a better coach this year. He's been much more aggressive on 4th down this year. Still, we can save the Todd Bowles talk for another time because he's done a hell of a job with this team to win 5 of 6. Yes. Do they have these long spells of losing streaks that probably they shouldn't have? Yes. Is the defense should the defense be better if you're the defensive guy? Yes, but let's give him credit for having these guys play so freaking hard. And Baker Mayfield, I mean, my Lord, what this guy brings to the table is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so, and the defense, by the way, so good in the second half, and they have now done this in 3 or 4 different instances where they have not been so good in the first half, made some adjustments. They hold the Saints to 3 points in the second half. The time of possession ended up with the Bucs more time of possession. So they completely flipped it all in the second half. And then, of course, the story of the day is Mike Evans.
Yes.
11 consecutive years, over 1,000 yards, ties Jerry Rice for the NFL record. But the way they got it is insane. It's insane. He's 5 yards short. Bucky Irving takes a pitch, and everybody's saying, "Oh, you should have slid down." No, score the freaking touchdown, win the game. That comes first. You're going to get an 8, and now they've got to score twice. They got a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. I don't want to mess around. Score the freaking, and you're certainly not thinking about a record at that point.
Sure,
you score the touchdown, but then Mike's sitting here on the bench, 5 yards short, and the Saints get the ball. They get the stop, and there's 36 seconds left. Listen, I think everybody in the stadium was like, of course they're going to try to get Mike the record. But let's just go ahead and acknowledge. You take a knee there. The NFC South is yours. You take a knee. If that ball's intercepted, if he fumbles that football, they run it back, you're the biggest fool in history as a coach. You are. Is it a risk? Yes, it's a risk. But I got to hand it to Todd Bowles once again.
Thank you.
He said he did the right thing. And you people might think this is obvious. I think there's a lot of coaches in this league that don't do that. They're like, no, this is about team first. You take a knee. We're not chasing any records. But this is Mike freaking Evans.
Thank you.
This is a guy that has given up so much to stay here. I asked him about that in the post-game press conference. I said, Mike, as you stand here now with the record, you're leading your team to the playoffs. There was some time in this offseason where that wasn't always a given.
Yeah.
How does it – clearly you made the right decision. He goes, I wasn't ever really going to leave Tampa Bay.
Well, listen, I think it plays into it, right? Because it's the relationship with Jason Light and Mike Evans and the Buccaneer organization. It's the reason why Mike Evans will re-sign. It's the reason why Baker Mayfield will re-sign. It's the reason why Levante David. It's important to have those relationships, and they understand how important it was to Evans and his legacy. And legacy is a big deal. And this guy, he's a Hall of Famer. Make no mistake about it. Say whatever you want to. He's a Hall of Famer now. He was a Hall of Famer before this record, but it was important to him. So coming into it, you got to get that, but you can also win at the same time, and they showed they could do that.
It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yes.
It is an individual record, but it's not. because Mike means so much to the team.
Correct.
And to the fans. And the fact that everybody in this building knew that Mike was 5 yards short. Everybody knew it.
Yes.
And everybody wanted the record. I mean, yeah, if Bowles doesn't go for it there's a mutiny on the ship.
Yes.
And everywhere else. I get it. But still, it's an individual record, but it's a team record because it's Mike Evans.
Correct.
Who always puts team first. And I asked Mike about that. I said, what was going through your head when Bucky scored? And he's like, listen, man, we want to win the game. We're going to, if I didn't get it, I didn't get it, but I ain't going to lie to you. I was hoping we would get the ball back and we'd be able to get it. And
Sure.
the call that was made, they had him in the slot. So it was kind of a little bit of a pick route with that ball, and it was going him, obviously. The whole way. But they had called that same play when Bucky scored.
Yeah.
That was the same play. And I'm here to tell you, Mike was open. And Baker didn't pull the trigger. I don't know why, but he didn't. And then Baker rolls out and flips it to Uriam. That's not the called play, by the way. The pitch, that was all improvisation.
Right.
So he scores the touchdown, and then the rest is history.
I'll tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines, Buck Nation. I know you have something to talk about. You're 4-time NFC South champions. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. What's your name?
Hey, it's Charles. How you doing, Pete?
What's going on, Charles? How you doing, boss?
Not bad, not bad. Listen, to say the least, that my team screwed up the first pick. I'll be cheering for the Bucs going forward.
Patriots fan
on this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yes.
So first off, Peter, I want to acknowledge and I want to say RIP to your laptop. I hope everything works out for the best.
Well, listen, we got a
baby.
new one over here,
One.
and we got
better.
a garbage can. The Bucs gave us a garbage can so I can read your comments at this point because I bought a stand.
Better,
it didn't work out. It did. Yes, it's 18 inches high right there. Big time screen. i9 processor. So listen, a negative can be turned into a positive at this point. Yes, let's go with this Bucs talk. Yes.
Couple of $1,000 in the other direction.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway, but so yeah, after the team, I had real doubts about this team pulling it out because honestly, they looked like complete dog crap in the first half. But I'm glad they had some guts. They pulled it out. Mayfield went ahead, and you're right. You know what? When you're down there, even though you're up by one, you could have taken a knee and everything like that. Right. You want to get Evans that ball, and he did the right thing by going ahead and shoveling it off. But yeah, when you finally have an 8-point lead, it is a risk. Don't get me wrong. I thought the same thing. Pick six, fumble return. But no,
they know where the ball's going. The Saints know where the ball's going.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't have three guys over Mike Evans. Just like I shot because they're the Saints. They know they're assholes.
Right.
So that's what they do. And I'm surprised they didn't take cheap shots at him all day.
Yes.
So let's give them a little bit of credit for playing it straight up. Because they could have put three guys over there because, the ball wasn't going anywhere else but
Mike Evans, yes.
So, you know what? I'm going to do a little tip of the cap to the New Orleans Saints organization. They played it straight up. They didn't have to. They knew where the ball was going. So, and maybe I think there's a little slice of that as much as there's been a rivalry between these teams, those Saints players respect Mike Evans.
You have to.
They respect the hell out of Mike Evans.
With the consistency factor and what he's done the last 11 years with multiple quarterbacks. Yeah,
it was such a good feeling. Those fans cheered for that moment more than any touchdown I've ever seen. I think that was a great moment for all Buck Nation. Honestly,
now if his old friend was on the other side,
Marshawn Lattimore.
If Marshawn Lattimore was on, let's just for a second think if Marshawn Lattimore was still playing for the Saints in that moment, and he was heads up on him.
Yes.
In that moment to get the record.
Right.
That would have been even more drama. That would have been fantastic.
Yes.
But I still think Mike beats him on the play.
Well, listen, it's not a Brett Favre, Michael Strahan situation. If Lattimore's on the other side,
That's
he's not laying down. He gave Mike Evans
no.
everything he could handle in that matchup. But that's what you had to like, JP, about coming into it.
Yeah.
No Lattimore on this team. I get it, the tragedy in New Orleans. But really, it's a rivalry game, but New Orleans has nothing to play for. But even with that being said, like Charles said, they sleepwalk, and they've done this before, and I get it. A lot of fans are but this is who they are. And
it was on the defense.
Right.
The offense, I think they had one series where they went 3 and out, and they were all passes against a team you ran to get 277 yards rushing for. Talked to Cody Mock after the game, and he said they did some defensive front things that they had not done.
Right.
They were going to stop the run, and so I think they were a little discombobulated in the first half. I thought the Saints defense really played physical. I mean, I tip of the cap to the Saints. They had nothing to play for. No Olave, no Kamara, no Carr.
They were playing spoiler though.
Yeah, they were. You know what? They played hard.
Yes.
And the Bucs earned every bit of this. They earned every bit of this. And how about a shout out to Jalen McMillan? Let's talk about that series.
This kid has absolutely stepped up. And listen, in that situation where you get a penalty, you could go out there and pout. You can have your down. You can have your head down because you're a rookie, but you come right back when the Bucs need you. And he has been one of the big time keys the second half of the year, because if you don't have McMillan against the Chargers, if you don't have McMillan in some of these big time games,
huge.
Yes.
And I said earlier in the year, I was a little critical of him because he had moments to make plays and he wasn't being physical enough.
Right.
He was not being physical enough. And I said it might take till next year for him to put on 15, 20 pounds, kind of like CeeDee Lamb did.
Yes.
Came into the league very spindly and then put on the weight, and because you got to have that upper body strength to play in this league.
Yeah.
And I think he learned along the way, and he grew up fast and started making plays about 2-3 weeks ago and hasn't stopped. And that play that he makes down there on 4th and 8, I mean, that's a tough catch. You're running like this, and that guy's right on your shoulder, and Baker just drops in a beautiful ball. But that's a hell of a catch in that moment.
Yes.
And it was a strong, physical combat catch, which is what he struggled with all through the first part of the season. And then he gets up and does this.
Right.
And they call a freaking penalty because they interpreted that as a gun sign. In that moment, are you effing kidding me, NFL?
Yeah.
What are you doing with this woke bullshit? Are you kidding me?
It is. It's absolute woke.
Virtue signaling, stupid ass penalty.
Take the shotgun.
Kidding me?
Take the shotgun formation away if you're really serious about it.
He was doing a bow and arrow,
right?
Or maybe he was doing a squirt gun,
right?
Or maybe he was doing his best Avenger move.
Those were chief referees out there.
Are you kidding me? How in that moment? How do you make the virtue signaling call? Oh, those were definitely guns, and he had his fingers taped, by the way, because he has a broken finger. And it's beyond belief that you would take this stupid stuff to this level.
Yes.
In my opinion. I understand. And you think that's going to do anything to stop gun violence? Like, seriously, this is what we're doing? I mean, it's in a moment like that could have cost the Buccaneers the NFC South title, all that they've worked for some stupid interpretation by a referee,
right?
That didn't even get it right.
Nope.
I mean, because his fingers were taped, and then they had discussions. And I'm wondering if people in New York are calling in and going, "I don't know, maybe we shouldn't call."
The red phone got called.
Yeah, and somebody else going, "Oh no, we got to stick to it. We got to stick to it. We said we're going to do it. We got to stick to it. Can't go back on it now." Then they're saying it's 1st and 25. Then they're saying it's 1st and 10. What a cluster fazuli. That was, I mean, what an embarrassment for the NFL.
Yes.
And then J-Mac gets his ass up and makes that play.
Toe drag swag in the end zone there. Charles, we got to run. We got calls. I appreciate the call. Call back if you want to, my friend, okay?
All right, got it.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show here live after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers win 4 consecutive NFC South crowns as they defeat the Saints 27-19. Go. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Bucs Basement.
Bucs Basement.
What's up,
congrats,
brother?
Guys, we're the kings of shit mountain. Oh, sorry, Crap Mountain. Crap Mountain again. Sorry. Forgot that. Yeah. We are the kings of Crap Mountain.
You cannot.
For the 4th year in a row.
You cannot go.
And you know what?
Todd Bowles in this moment. You can't go. Todd Bowles should be fired.
No, come on now, Bucs Basement. You got to have respect for him.
Come on.
With going for it on 4th and 8 now. Come on, 4th and 8. You go for it. You have the cojones, if you will, to go for it.
Let the man speak.
Yeah.
Let the man speak.
Yeah. Okay.
So my main issue has always been with Todd Bowles is it just feels like the team is stuck in purgatory. And I know we're going to the playoffs and anything can happen in the playoffs, but it's the same song and dance for 3 years. And now potentially we could lose Cohen because the Patriots just fired Gerard Mayo, and that's huge. And if you've been listening to Scott Reynolds, he says, look out for New England when it comes to Cohen. And now that whole seed is coming. So now we could be doing Canales 2.0. And I'm sorry, I just don't think Bowles has it in, and I don't trust Bowles to be able to not only fire his yes men, which is what he would have to do this offseason. He would have to fire his defensive coaching staff all around him. The edge rush coach, he's got to go. The corners coach, that's got to go. Like, everybody's got to go on that side of the ball. And then on top of that, you're going to have to now have him go up look for another offensive coordinator and have to tell Baker Mayfield
listen, bro,
players.
I love you, brother. I love you, and your points are all extremely valid, and I do not disagree with any of them. But now is not the time. You just won your fourth consecutive title. And not only celebrate, but look forward to going to the playoffs.
I'm still recovering from pneumonia.
Listen, man, I'm glad you're good right now, but you could always go back to, the doldrums of what Tampa Bay Buccaneer football was in the 80s and the 90s. Or how about, if you like that, how about 09 until 19 with changing of quarterbacks, changing of coaches. I get what you're saying, but do you trust
2019? So I was all for that. That 30 for 30 season was so entertaining as a fan. Like in the stands.
But that's what do you want to go back to that? Do we want to go back and talk about turnovers? All right, then. Come on now, Bucs basement. Come on, enjoy this. And we got the media icon in the background. The man that saved my camera. The man that practically nearly saved the laptop here.
Show us.
Yes, look at this. We got TJ Reeves. Bucs basement, we got to run, my friend.
There's the shirt for the division title. I haven't even looked at said shirt.
Ready to roll.
NFC,
love it.
NFC South champs, ready to roll.
Ready to roll with the Rolex reporter. Right about that. How about that right there? Ready to roll. Yes.
About you, Peter.
Let me just address the clown behavior that was on right before we're on.
Okay.
I believe I said this a year ago, coming off the bye week, when everybody's going, fire Todd Bowles, get rid of Baker Mayfield, blah, 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 blah. If you call yourself any kind of a fan of this team, you are not rooting for your team to lose and fire the coach while the playoffs are within reach and you want a playoff game. For that clown, you are a clown. I will hold the door for you while you leave. Get out. While the other ones of us, all of us, by the tens of thousands, enjoy the playoffs, you're a clown. The end.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Media icon right there, coming strong to the Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network.
How much can you tell us about the post-game celebration?
All right, a lot. I mean, first of all, Baker was wanting to cut short the Buccaneer Radio post-game interview because he wanted to get in the photo with the offensive line for this, and that tells you about all you need to know about what they've done up front. Was this pretty today? Absolutely not. Too many penalties, too many mistakes again with missed tackles. Yes, I know they're bad. Let me share what you were alluding to right when I walked up. The Buccaneers were so bad from 2009 until 2019 that every year, at the end of the year, the Panthers or the Falcons or the Saints were kicking the crap out of this team to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So how hilarious is it that now for the second year in a row, the shoe is on the other foot to go beat the likes of the Falcons or the Saints or the Panthers the last few weeks and do to them what they did for the entire decade, basically, of the 2010s, that they did that to this team. And how fitting that you get one more chance to stick one in the ribs by putting Mike Evans back in the game and throw a pass to him against the Saints to get the record.
Can you imagine if Lattimore still played for this team and they go heads up for that last play?
Well, he was saying after the game, I know he went to the podium and did not get to hear that. He was saying that on Buccaneers radio, that they were saying down on the goal line on the final touchdown drive, do not let Evans get it. Don't let 13 get it. So they were well aware, triple team, quadruple team, whatever, to try to keep him from getting the record on them, and it still didn't work out. I have been around this now for 25 years. You've been around in the media, but I've been around this in a role with the Buccaneer Radio Network for 25 years, 20 of them on the sideline. That's as wild and crazy of an ending to win the game, make the playoffs in a home game, and get him a record where the list is two people.
Yes.
Jerry Rice and him.
And the game was in the balance.
Yeah.
Like it was the play there is take a knee. It's take a knee every single time. For you do not risk in any way. And it's funny because I asked Bowles about that, and he was kind of like, no, we talked it over, and he goes, I'm just glad it was complete. I'm just glad it didn't get intercepted, because he was probably on the headset going, guys, listen, what if it gets intercepted? What if we fumble the football? And that's a possibility. I mean, it's remote, but it's a possibility. So I think he made the right choice, Because if you don't do that, you're going to get a mutiny by the fans and your entire team as a head coach. So you better do it. But to have it all work out in that moment was just insane.
And I think it also says something, and we got TJ Reeves, the media icon himself of the Buccaneer Radio Network, something about their relationship with Evans and Jason Light and how much it's important to his legacy to get him that record. That's the reason why he will re-sign. That's the reason why he will redo his contract multiple times. And Baker Mayfield will re-sign, and Levante David will re-sign because of the relationship with their players.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is Mayfield could have taken a walk. Evans could have taken a walk off this team. Again, shout out, thoughts and prayers to everybody a year ago going, trade Evans at the trade deadline. He's going to walk away. He's never going to come back. What are you going to do? You know what you're going to do? He's going to catch the ball, and you're going to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. And you know what he did after the hamstring injury this year? He caught the ball. You won games. You made the playoffs. And look, this guy is grounded in this community with that foundation. And I really believe that good things, if not great things, happen to great people. Right. He, his wife, his family are great people. Baker Mayfield out of the same cloth. Levante David out of the same cloth. Do you see a trend here, Buck fans? Tristan Wirfs out of the same cloth in the community and doing things here for the Buck fans. I am thrilled for all of those guys. Be happy with the playoffs. Was it perfect down the stretch? No. Would you rather be the Atlanta Falcons, who lost 6 of their last 8 games and absolutely got kicked right in the crotch by the Carolina Panthers to
Thank you, Dave Canales.
I mean,
thank you, Dave.
Amazing how they fell apart at the end of the year, and this team won 5 of the final 6 to win their way into the playoffs. And I don't know,
6 of 7.
6 of 7.
Yes.
I don't know what's going to end up happening here. Is the matchup going to be Minnesota? Is the matchup going to be the Commanders? Is it Saturday? It could be Saturday, right away, 6 days from now. There's a lot of talk, again, if it's the 4-5 game, that it will either be the first game on Saturday or the last game on Monday night. The reason they want that is because they already know the 1 seed in either the AFC or the NFC, and you're just waiting on the 4-5 for playing them there, and when do you want to plug them in the following weekend.
I'll take Monday Night Football.
But that was the last 2 years.
Do you want the prime time game? Do you want it? Do you want the prime time?
This team does not.
They
like
do not play well in prime time. And guys,
this year.
remember now, if the Rams lose because they're resting a lot of their starters and Seattle wins, the Bucs would get the 3rd seed, so it'll be 3 versus 6. So that's still a possibility.
Seattle winning 14-10 at last check.
Boom.
The Rams not playing their starters. Again, the Bucs would slide into the 3 seed with a Rams loss.
But you'd rather have the Commanders or Packers. Jordan Love, by the way, hurt his hand today.
Yes.
Came back
Good
into
point.
the game, but he did hurt his hand. You'd rather have Commanders, Packers as opposed to the loser of Minnesota, Detroit, right?
Probably so. Although Detroit has no defense. So that would be.
Yeah, but Jared Goff kind of likes playing against his Bulls team.
But then again, you have a thought that maybe you owe them another one. You got one against them earlier in the year. I don't know. I just know that this has been a blast, obviously, down the stretch of the season where once again this team won games they had to win. How do you not roll with Baker Mayfield? Obviously, guys, with those runs, I mean, he's realizing we need my wheels, and I'm going to go lower the shoulder on a DB.
Yeah,
that's why. This team rallies around him. This community has rallied around him. What a leader. And you go find a way to win. And Bucky Irving still running hard at the end of a rookie year. I mean, he's never played 17 games in a season.
Amazing.
Before. He's still running hard. And I know the defense does not get takeaways right now, and they've had problems tackling. But guess what? You're in the postseason, and now it's 1-game scenarios.
Mike Edwards has a jump ball to catch it, have a pick. And did you see what happened? Like, he couldn't jump because he cramped at the moment of him. at the moment of jumping to catch him, basically a free interception. Both of his calves cramp, and he drops the ball. I'm like, oh my God, we're just never going to get another pick.
And I saw him after the game, and he said, I'm going to be good. And of course, Zion McCollum had a couple of chances, including late in the game at 1, almost had a pick 6 down the far sideline late in the game where they put the blitz on and they wanted Rattler to throw the out route, jump the out route and go the other way. So let's just see. All I know is you're in the tournament. And for so many years, you could not even breathe the postseason. You got it 5 years in a row, Buck fans. 5 years in a row.
Yes, four-time
TJ.
NFC South.
Go enjoy your pizza.
Yes, sir.
Got to get a little post-game food. If you need me, you know where to find me. If you need me, you know where to find me. And we rock on, and we'll find out. It could be Saturday right away in the playoffs. We'll find out later tonight. Usually after halftime of the Sunday night game, they'll come out with the playoff times and the matchups on who it's going to be.
We need Winfield needs a couple extra days. So let's get Monday night. Let's get
your lips to his healing knee. Yep. You boys be well. Go Bucs. Great to be with you.
Go Bucs. There you go. The media icon right there, TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio
Network.
Network.
On a point there I want to embellish on, because I actually heard somebody in the national media say this as well. And I forget who it was. It was somebody who just come down here and spent some time. Anyway, national media person.
Yeah.
And he said, let me tell you something about the Bucs. He goes, that locker room has got phenomenal people in it. Like, there are no jerks. I mean, TJ, we've all covered this team for a long time.
Yes.
And there's, the Chris Bakers of the world, the Deshaun Jacksons of the world. We've had some knuckleheads. This team, I swear to God, doesn't have a one. You root for every one of these guys. They are all solid human beings, great community guys. Yes. There's just no dicks in there.
There isn't.
Just not. And that's rare.
Well,
it's really rare.
Jason Light did say that Baker Mayfield at the beginning of the season is on a prick scale of 1 to 10. He's a 10. But listen, you're exactly right. And credit to Jason Light for getting guys that fit the system, fit this organization. You have the personality to be out in the community. It's important. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show.
It's Dave from North Carolina.
What's going on, Dave?
I'm just happy that the Bucs finally pulled this game out, got the win. And I wish a lot of these Bucs fans would get off Baker now, because I think we have found our franchise quarterback for probably about the next 7 to 8 years.
Are there still people that don't like Baker?
Oh yeah, because he takes too many chances. He holds the ball too. He turns over the ball. But if you don't have Baker Mayfield, which by the way, 41 touchdowns for the year, 41 touchdowns.
Listen, give me a gunslinger over a check down Charlie any day of the week.
Yes.
You can't win squat with check down Charlie.
No.
You've got to take some chances. And does he take too many? Some games he does. Most games he does not. Overwhelmingly the good is so much better than the bad. I mean,
with this game here, he put this team on his back.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. That throw to McMillan on 4th and 8. I mean, you know how hard that throw is. The flag route to the outside. You've got to arc it over. And J-Mac had maybe, I don't know, a half a step on the guy. I mean, there was not a whole lot of room to make that throw, and he freaking just drops it in the basket.
Well, that way, and also the way he gets away from the pressure, and then he takes the runs, gets the big first downs for you.
Well, we kind of talked about that. Brady was on the telecast. We kind of wonder what he would think about that. But if Brady were back there, as great as Brady is, he's not going to go and be mobile. He's going to get sacked or throw the ball into the ground.
That's why his last year was the way it was.
Yeah,
everybody knew he couldn't get out, didn't want to run, didn't want to take any hits. He knew that, and he was gonna dirt the ball and throw it away. So those extra plays, those off-script plays, which when you watch football on a weekly basis, the off-script plays for the quarterback are probably about 35 to 40% of teams' offense.
Yeah.
If they're like Baker Mayfield, you go look at the off-script plays on his scrambles. The touchdown to J-Mac was an off-script play. So much of his improvisation is a huge part of this offense.
It is, and it's the reason why to me, it's a direct reflection of not only that locker room, but this team overall. Gritty, moxie. We heard about it. We heard about it through the offseason. We've seen it through the season. This guy never gives up. Even though Cleveland gives up on him, even though Carolina and LA gives up on him. I love
the picture of Bake and Sam Darnold in Panther uniforms.
Right.
This is from last year.
They had them both, and they gave up on him. And look,
this is crappy organization. This is why you take a quarterback. This is a testament to the Buccaneers organization.
Sure.
You surround him with good players, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, this offensive line. I spoke to Cody Mauch after the game at length, and I asked him about Bake and those runs, and he's like, that's why we love this guy. He goes, sometimes he'll run into the sack. He goes, but 90% of the time he's getting out. He goes, and I can tell by the way my defensive guy is moving if Bake's still alive, and I stay on him. These guys know that they got to keep playing because Bake's going to escape, and he's going to make a play, and they freaking love him.
Yeah.
The offensive line freaking loves Bake.
And you got to love him. You got to love him, Dave, because he gives you a chance, a gift and a curse sometimes. He'll throw some interceptions. He'll have some turnovers. He should take the sack. a little bit sooner because he puts the ball out there. But at the end of the day, you want him because he can make those plays. He can make all those throws. He makes that big-time run on third down. He's not Lamar Jackson, but yet he has the same damn impact as Jackson.
Well, trust me, I live out 13 miles outside of Charlotte.
Yeah.
I was here when, with Baker. Back then, Carolina Panthers, with that coaching staff and rule, they were just a dysfunction.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Remember, they didn't even practice red zone. Remember that? There was a story they wouldn't even practice red zone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a call.
Thanks, man.
Show, Peter.
Thanks, Dave.
JP. And let's go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Yeah, go Bucs. Absolutely. We'd have a sound effect today, but we don't. Open phone line, though, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. After your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take care of business, 27-19 over the New Orleans Saints to finish 10-7 in the season.
10-7.
And again, that's progression, right?
Exactly.
8 wins with Brady.
Yep.
9 wins with Baker last year, 10 wins, and yet still people. And
I cashed my preseason over 7.5 wins.
I
cashed my preseason winning of the NFC South.
Very nice.
Cashed my preseason Baker over 22.5 touchdown passes. That was easy money. Cashed. What was the other one we cashed?
Hold on, Eric.
Yeah, whatever. I can't count them.
You cash so much all the time.
Buccaneers.
Yes, thank you, Buccaneers. Thank you, Baker
Vegas,
Maker,
for consistently devaluing the Bucs.
We love that.
For the last 3 years, I've taken over the number of wins and cashed every time. So keep it up, Vegas.
Eric, go ahead. You're on the Evolution.
What's up? Bring your bring your passion. Don't bring no nonsense.
That's right. Don't bring any nonsense. Although you were a guy that wanted to also fire Todd Bowles, and you were texting me if the Bucs couldn't wake up that you fire Todd Bowles.
Maybe they got my response.
Well, no, I didn't get your response. This is the way they are. They love to play from behind sometimes. They like their back against the wall.
You see, they woke up because when I wrote you, they woke up.
What I want to know, Eric, is do you have confidence in this team going forward? Do you have confidence in Todd Bowles?
We could beat the Commanders next week.
Well, we'll see if it's the Commanders.
I think we could beat the Commanders. I think we could beat the Packers.
Looks like it so far.
The Lions or the Vikings. I don't know. A Vikings offense with Sam Darnold and Addison and Justin Jefferson against this secondary.
Without Jamel Dean, and I get it, Jamel Dean is very inconsistent, but you had the greatness of Josh.
Cover guy. He can't catch worth but
Josh,
at least he covers guys.
Josh Hayes.
Josh Hayes ain't getting it done.
I'd rather have Isaac Hayes.
You know who led the team in tackles today?
Yeah, who?
Josh Hayes.
Yeah, that's not always a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
And that drive just before the half, it's just like where first of all, they're calling timeouts when the Bucs have the ball. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles. And they saved, so they get the ball back with 1:04. Right, and 2 timeouts, and I'm like, this is an easy 3. Like we're just going to play soft, give them the sidelines, let them go right down the field, and that's exactly what they did. And you finish the half, they get the field goal, and you're down 16 to 6,
16-6, yeah.
And you're tripled in yards, tripled in time of possession. I mean, it was the first half was a freaking disaster.
Yeah,
but at no point did I think the Bucs were not lose. Stat for you. Baker Mayfield coming into this game 0 for 43 when down by 10 points. A stat he did not know, by the way. He did not know that. Someone told it to him on the podium. He's like, oh, wow, really?
Now he's 1
in 44 when down by 10 points in a game.
Take it.
Yeah, and by the way, there's probably a lot of quarterbacks that have a similar –
sure.
Well, maybe not that much.
But it's mentioned about Baker Mayfield because –
but it's also, a lot of those are like, when you're on bad teams, you're down 10 points a lot.
Correct.
So –
yeah.
You're going to have a lot of opportunities and won't have a good team to be able to come back and win. And now he's got a good team that surrounds him. So it's kind of a quirky stat, but it's testament to Baker's not a guy like a Lamar or like a Brady in his prime that is just going to put the team on his back. But you surround him with good players and he becomes an integral part. He's tremendously talented. He has got a cannon for an arm that I don't think he gets enough credit for. He's incredibly accurate, over 70% completion percentage for the season. That's rare in the NFL.
Wow.
And he's going to throw for over 4,500 yards, I believe, and be among the top 5 in almost every single category in passing, and that's going to earn him another $2.5 million.
Got your stats right here. 71.4 completion percentage for the year, 4,500 yards exactly, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. 41 touchdowns was 22.
God, that was easy money.
That's easy money.
41 touchdowns. And is that passing touchdowns?
Well, that is passing touchdowns, but it doesn't include yes,
another 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name?
Hey, man, Peter Blake, it's Jeff Quinn. How are you doing?
What's going on,
What's up,
Jeff? How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good, buddy. Hey, listen, I just wanted to address the coaching situation. Honestly, like I was not impressed with Todd Bowles. I was not a Todd Bowles fan for head coach.
Okay.
But for defense, he's excellent. All right. And we have to take in consideration that he's dealt with missing his top guys all season long.
Correct.
And he's and as far as Liam Cohen goes, he's doing an excellent job. We can't let him go.
Well, can I throw this out there because Bucs Basement mentioned this. New England's out there. They just fired Jared Mayo. If you're Liam Cohen, I get it. You want to get your first coaching job, but could it become a situation, Bucs fans, where it's like Ben Johnson, where you're not necessarily, so much in a rush to take the first coaching job because it's not necessarily going to work out and it's not necessarily the best thing.
Liam Cohen already alluded to that.
Correct.
He was not like necessarily looking at jumping ship and going for that head coaching job because he likes where he's at and he understands that
Jeff,
Bowles
what's not to like about this situation?
With all
right.
due respect.
So my suggestion is the Bucs figure it out. Whoever has the head coaching position, and I think I made this comment on another post where give the head coaching position to whoever was better with clock management.
Right.
Obviously, that's going to be Liam Cohen. But you keep them both. Whatever it takes, and whatever they figure out. Maybe they're both head coaches in the office, but on the field, gets the title. Who cares?
You could have a coach in waiting situation because I think
Jeff, thanks a lot for the call.
Liam Cohen, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Todd Bowles at all, but I think everybody knows that everybody in this offseason is going to be looking at Liam Cohen. He is the guy that everyone wants, someone connected to that Sean McVay offense that knows how to run it. Look at his success. The numbers this year are off the charts. So Liam Cohen is going to be the first or second choice for almost every opening. With maybe those who want to lock in on Vrabel because obviously he's got a great track record. But Vrabel's a defensive guy too,
right?
And these owners want offensive-minded coach because it's an offensive league. And clearly this guy is a genius play caller. And the key part of his interview that I picked up this week was not the part where he said, "Hey, I'm 39. I'm having the time of my life, so it doesn't have to be this year." When they asked, "Are you ready?" he said, "I'm ready. I'm ready."
Do you get the sense you've talked to people, you're close to the organization?
In this organization, and I've asked that question to them, people that are in his offensive meeting rooms, and asked that question. I said, do you think what kind of a guy is he? Does he give you a sense of a head coaching feel when he's in front of the room? Because that's what these, you got 53 alphas in there. You cannot be a guy that people know if you're ready for the spotlight.
Yeah.
If you have that gravitas that you carry yourself, and to a man, everybody talked to 3 people and they all said, yeah, he's head coach material. There's no question about it. He commands the room. He's incredibly competent. He's an extreme intellectual, super smart guy, checks all the boxes. So it's up to the Glazers to find a creative way to keep him here. And knowing them as I've covered them for 27 years as owners, and I said this on Good Morning Football when Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt asked me, I see what's up with Liam Cohen. I said, he's not effing leaving.
Yeah.
He's not effing leaving. I do not think there's any way that the Buccaneers hierarchy, the Glazers, allow him to get out of the building. He either becomes the head coach at the end of the year. Listen, if Minnesota comes in here or the Lions come in here next week and boat race the Bucs, could the Bucs fire? Absolutely, they could fire Todd Bowles,
right,
and elevate him. I think that would be the obvious decision, to be quite honest. And that's no disrespect to Todd Bowles. It just is what it is,
right?
I mean, the numbers show the defense has been awful this year.
Yeah,
to be quite, it's been better in the second half of the season when they've gone up against some really, neophyte quarterbacks. But Spencer Rattler was 21 of 24 in the first half for 180 yards, something like that.
Right.
Spencer freaking Rattler.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't have all his guys out there. Neither did Spencer Rattler. He didn't have Kamara. He didn't have Olave.
Sure.
So let's just, put that to bed. The defense, if you're the head coach, has to be better. It just has to be better.
I agree.
And it has not been. And the record has hovered around 500. They've won 4 division titles. That's absolutely 100% true. And Todd Bowles gets all the credit, not all, but gets a significant amount of credit for that. And I don't want to be disrespectful to him at all.
Sure.
But in this case, when you have a guy like Liam Cohen, who's going to be the most sought after, I think, head coach in the offseason, you got to find a way to keep him. Now, can they sign him to a you're the next coach when Todd retires deal? Sure. I mean, there's nothing that precludes him from doing that. So then he knows that he's going to get a head coaching job at some point. Now Baker's going to be here for the next 5 to 8 years. He's not going anywhere.
Sure.
So you're going to have that. The coach quarterback relationship is everything in this league. Do you really think that the Bucs organization, having stumbled upon Baker Mayfield and all the good juju they got going on right now, that they're going to in some way just allow him to walk out of this building? No effing way.
No
effing way.
No,
so I know all
don't.
these fans that are concerned that we're going to lose Liam Cohen and to keep Todd Bowles. I just don't see that happening.
I don't either.
And
I want to go out to the phone lines. This person has been very patient. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution along with the JP Peterson show. Yes.
Hello, Peter. It's Abraham. Hi. How you doing?
Doing good, Abraham. How you doing, boss?
It's a great time to be a Bucs fan. I mean, after so many years of futility, man, 4 division titles in a row.
Yes. Yes.
Mike got 1,000
five
yards.
playoffs in a row.
Yes.
A Super Bowl.
5 playoffs. I mean, Super
playoff
Bowl.
wins. I mean,
playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is, I don't know why people are harping on negative about Todd Bowles. Just focus on the positive. We made it, okay, to the playoffs. We won our division. And you know what? Mike got 1,000. I mean, whatever happens in the offseason, I know the Glaziers, how they dealt with the Todd Bowles situation when Bruce Arians was about to retire and everybody wanted Todd Bowles as the head coach.
Yeah.
Now Liam Cohen's a hot commodity, but remember, there will always be a succession plan for Liam Cohen, just like there was one for Todd Bowles. So just everybody needs to lay off the fire Todd Bowles bandwagon and just appreciate
it'll work itself out.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me, and I don't know why a lot of people are continuing to ask the question, and I get it. They're concerned because coaching, like you said, he's going to be a hot commodity. He should be a hot commodity, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to take every coaching job. It has to fit. Furthermore, his father lives here. That's important. Maybe that's not important to you, but his father, Liam Cohen's father. Yeah, his father lives there, so maybe he wants to be close to his father and his family. So
he's not leaving.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they can to keep him. And you know what? The Todd Bowles haters need to shut up and just appreciate what he has done. I know there's things he needs to work on, but you know what? Todd is, he said he's not going to be coaching until 70. So eventually, you know what? He's going to step down and let Liam take over. So everybody needs to stop the hate.
Good stuff, Abraham. Appreciate the call, man. As always, good stuff there from Bucs fans. Open phone lines again, 727-255-0391. 4-time NFC South champions. What else did you learn from this game? Because I know you were in the media room there. What did you learn?
Talking to Jalen McMillan, I asked him about the catch, and he said it was just a great ball from Baker. Both of those were great balls from Baker. I asked him, what his conversation was with the ref about the stupid-ass penalty that they called, and he's trying to explain to them, like, dude, I got broken fingers. That's why they're taped together. That's why it looks I was doing a first down sign is what I was doing. I wasn't doing a gun symbol. And to make that subjective leap in that moment, is just ridiculous on so many levels.
Agree.
I mean, NFL, what are you doing?
Agree.
Talking to Cody Mark, I thought it was interesting. And, I asked him why they were struggling in the first half. And he just mentioned that the Saints did a lot of different things that they weren't ready for. They, the Bucs run a lot of gap scheme blocking where you're cross blocking. Yeah. You're pulling a lot of these guys. And so the Saints did a really good job of getting in the way and kind of screwing up their movement and getting penetration. So they did a really nice job, and it's something that the Bucs are going to face in the playoffs. So it's good to have to make an adjustment in this game, because then they'll be ready for it in the next game. So Who else did we talk to? Baker. Baker talked about missing Mike on that deep ball, which really would have been the record. Like it would have obviously given them their first touchdown. Would it be their first? Yeah, I think it would have, because it was third quarter, I think.
Yes.
Would have given them their first touchdown. They ended up scoring on the drive anyway.
Well, Payne Durham there.
Yeah.
Doing the honors.
Which, by the way, was another great job by the offensive line. Probably gave Baker 5 or 6 seconds.
Yes.
And Baker was patient enough to just say, let somebody uncover. Boom, I see somebody. Great ball to Payne. And a nice catch by Payne. That was a hot one.
Yes.
That's an easily dropped ball.
And another player we saw step up today, we look at the numbers. Mike Evans, of course, 9 catches for 89 yards. Jalen McMillan, 5 for 74. Devin Culp
with a huge
third down catch. I mean, talk about this kid. And again, we keep on singing the praises of Jason Light. But this is Jason Light. This is his DNA.
They did it without K. Otten today.
Yes.
They did it without Antoine Winfield Jr. today.
Yeah.
Buck. I thought Bucky was a little slow today. I haven't seen him. He didn't. I don't think he's hit the rookie wall.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see the burst today from Bucky. He's been battling a lot of injuries. The toe injury. You see him. You guys probably don't see this when you're watching at home. In the 2-minute timeouts, if he's in the huddle, he's down on the ground stretching out his hip.
Right.
If you've seen that hip stretch, it's kind of a yoga move. So he's just.
What is that? A downward dog? Is that what that is?
Not downward dog. No, he actually crosses his leg underneath his other leg.
Okay.
It's kind of like a hurdler stretch on the ground, but he's getting the hip because he's had a bad hip, stretching out that hip. So I think today was not his best day. That's why I want to see this on Monday Night Football. Give the Bucs could use the extra 2 days rest. I mean, early Saturday compared to Monday night is a huge difference for some of these guys' bodies recovering. So let's hope they get the late game.
Then again, the primetime games, I know it goes back to last year. They played well versus Philly, but this year, what was it, 8-11, 8-12, something along those lines?
They were 0 for 4 in primetime this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dallas game was one of their worst games. So
painful to watch, by the way.
They're also playing good teams. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that about the Cowboys.
Playing better.
I would if it's a I don't want to play on primetime. Give me Saturday. Screw that. Give me the extra 2 days of rest.
Okay,
absolutely, without question.
Well, then maybe Monday night. Or maybe what about Sunday night? Do they have Sunday night football?
There'll be a primetime game, I'm sure.
Yeah,
when Wildcard weekend.
So
listen, you're in the playoffs. Doesn't matter who you play. You got to beat them all anyway.
That's it.
So it doesn't matter who they get, but the time matters. I think they could use the extra couple days for Winfield to get healthy, for Bucky to get a little bit better. Who else am I thinking about? By the way, Shaq Barrett got in today.
Oh, you saw a little bit of him? Yeah.
I didn't see much from him. I go back and look at the tape, but he didn't really pop at all. But he got in a couple plays.
Diaby had a sack there. Vea had a
sack.
Yeah.
I think they're both coverage sacks. I think Rattler ran into both of them. This pass rush, it's got issues. I mean, if I'm going to sit here going into the playoffs, as we wind this down, I think playing some of these other much better quarterbacks with better receivers, better offenses. I mean, this Bucs defense has done better, but look at the quarterbacks and the teams that they faced.
Fair.
They ain't going to see those lightweights in the playoffs.
No. Although, to be fair, Justin Herbert was a guy that they did a good job on getting after him. Yes.
I mean, was Herbert playing on one leg? I don't know. But he torched everybody else this season. So you got to give them credit. So they've played better. But in the playoffs, they've got to really step up. That's my biggest fear. This offense obviously can go to toe-to-toe with any offense in football. I'm not worried about the offense. They're going to play well. This defense has got to be better. They've got to find a pass rush. Today was not good enough. Spencer Rattler toasted them in the first half. I mean, you can't have that.
Yeah.
And that's with, throwing to Pettis and Juwan Johnson, not Justin Jefferson and Addison.
Valdez Scantling, former USF.
It's a whole different level.
Yeah,
so this Buccaneer defense is going to have to step up big time. They've got to find a pass rush, and they've got to be better in the secondary. You've got to get turnovers, and this team just cannot freaking catch the ball in an interception. Hey, I think they've had, 2 interceptions in the last 11 games?
Zion McCollum nearly had one. He took a chance but got beat by the wide receiver.
I like that he jumped the route.
I agree.
I was like, he missed it. He missed it, but I'm like,
what's the cause of that? Is that tech? Because we've seen it. Is it technique? Is that coaching?
Well,
the technique
from a technique standpoint, I don't. They're not coached. I don't know. They just not coached to anticipate, or they just don't anticipate and watch the eyes of the quarterback.
Right.
And they can't catch a damn cold. Like, I mean, even when they throw it to them, they can't catch. It's unbelievable, but they've got to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
Edwards last week on one where Bryce Young got hit while he was throwing and basically threw a punt up in the air. And where the safety should be looking for it coming down, he's got his back turned running towards the receiver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's got help on the other side. I'm like, just play the damn ball. It almost hit you in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Turn around and play the damn ball. So I don't know if it's just lack of instincts or coaching or whatever, but they are awful at it, and they're going to need to get some takeaways in the postseason to have any success.
Agree. All right. Let's go ahead and take a call here. Let's go out to the Tribal Troll, Roger Shue. Welcome to the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. We're going to get him out of here in a moment because he has to go back to Orlando. But
Last
go ahead.
chance to abuse me.
Yeah,
Peter
go
and
for
JB,
it.
congratulations to
Thank you.
Congratulations to the Bucs Nation.
Well,
Yes.
4 consecutive championships.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Absolutely.
And what's more beautiful than that is the Bears beat Green Bay in Lambeau for the first time in 9 years.
How about that?
That was surprising in itself because you thought that, Chicago would find some way to lose that game. And it's nice for, that rookie quarterback to have that confidence. It's nice for that team going forward. Maybe that's a momentum that you need next year, whatever you decide to do.
Leah word, the Mo.
Yep, the Mo. Absolutely.
But, Caleb had a good season. I mean, he ain't passed for 3,500 yards in a rookie season on a crap team.
Well, by the way, you lost your bet with me because we had a bet that the Bears would have or the Bucs would have a better record than the Bears. So you lost that bet, by the way.
Yes, I did.
By a large margin.
By a large margin. Yeah,
But
I told you.
That's been canceled because I'm now on the Bucs bandwagon. So,
Okay, I'll allow it at this point. You did owe me some money,
Jump
but that's
aboard.
okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's all right. All right. What else did you see today from this Bucs game?
So who do you guys got in the playoffs now? Who is it going to be?
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
No yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends
We're
on
still
if
waiting.
it depends on if the Rams win today. They take the 3 seed. If they lose to Seattle, I don't know what the score is.
Well, I'm doing it right now. Here we go.
Bucs are the 3 seed, and then they would play the Commanders-Packers. Either the Commanders or the Packers. With the Packers losing, I think it would definitely be them today, if I'm not mistaken. But otherwise, if the Rams win today, then the Bucs get the 4 seed, so they'll get the loser of the Detroit-Minnesota game tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Who do you guys got? Vikings or or Lions
Tonight?
Tonight.
I'm taking the Lions, even though I don't believe in their defense. All right, you take that. Score right now: Seahawks 17-13 up on the Rams. Third quarter with 12 minutes to go. Chargers over the Raiders 17-10. The Broncos. Thanks for showing up, Kansas City. They did not. 24-0 Broncos. So it looks like Sean Payton will make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback and Bo Nix. What a turnaround for them.
I really felt like those guys were gonna figure it out. We saw it right here when they put an ass whooping on the Bucs. In week 3.
Yes.
And Bo Nix looked pretty damn good. That's going to be a nice pairing moving forward, those two.
Yeah.
Hey,
absolutely.
the Chicago Bears are 1-0 in 2025
Well, there you go. That's something to look forward to, my friend. Happy New Year.
Good luck with that.
We appreciate you. We'll see who you decide to.
Year,
yep. Happy New Year.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to check out here. We will be back on live tomorrow from 10 to noon all week long. In studio, we'll have some special guests tomorrow, and we'll rehash this whole thing. I'm going to go home and watch the replay, pick up some more stuff, hear what Brady had to say about Baker Mayfield's incredible throws today and his mobility. So yeah, we'll do all that, and we'll have that for you tomorrow on the JP Peterson Show all week.
All right. Thanks
you,
a lot,
brother.
partner.
Great job,
Appreciate you. Happy New Year. There you go, Mr. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show here tomorrow, 10 a.m. to noon. Check it out right there. He'll give you some recap as always, and we'll come back here. We'll try to read some of these comments because the Bucs did provide us with a garbage can here, so I won't have to lean over so much. So we'll continue to read some of these comments, and we'll take your phone calls as always. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get it done today. In not necessarily the prettiest fashion, but listen, a win is a win is a win. They are 4-time consecutive NFC South champions. It feels so good here. First, thank you, Megan, for tuning in. As always, on YouTube, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Appreciate that. How about your NFC South champs by 2 games? LFG, absolutely. Let's go out to You Know I'm Right. All I got to say is I hope we can get our defense healthy from next week. If not, this is all for nothing. And I understand that, but I still think this offense can do some big things. The defense has to get better. The defense has to get healthy. You're exactly right, but they will have a home game truth. Eric says, let's go Bucs, fire those cannons. Eric again, Mike Evans MVP. Big day, of course, for Mike Evans. To recap that, if you don't know, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons, finishing the day with 9 catches for 89 yards in the last play of the game there for 8 yards to cap it off. As the press box being in there, everybody was looking forward to it. Once that Bucs defense got back the ball, I got to tell you, there were kids in that press box. It wasn't guys that were covering the media. We were all rooting for Mike Evans to get it. You could feel that energy at that point, so it was great to see. Let's see here. Mary Jo says, love my Bucs. Absolutely. Sitting. Go Bucs all day long. Absolutely. Looks like Bucs host the Commanders. 14-3 lead. Let's go out to Melissa here. 4 years in a row, baby. South East NFC East championship. Let's go Bucs. Let's go Bucs. Absolutely. Let's go out to Michael Hulk. LFG, win is a win. History made today. Mikey and the division champs. Fire those cannons. Love seeing you last week, sir. Love seeing you too, man. Love seeing Bucs fans out there before the game, at the tailgate, having a good time and a must-win game situation. You guys showed out today. I was talking to Brian Ford, the COO of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, shook his hand, and you could tell the energy was there, and he loves the fact of you Bucs fans, you Webheads, you Tampa Bay sports fans who don't believe what everybody was saying about the hype of how great the Atlanta Falcons were, how great Kirk Cousins was, how great the Atlanta Falcons were going to take this division. You didn't believe. I told you to relax because it all goes through the NFC South, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, once again, are champions. Let's go out to Eric again. 4-time NFC champions. Absolutely. Big Mike 13. Yes. Let's see here. LFG Michael Hulk. Thank you very much. Let's go Seahawks today. If the Seahawks win, then the Bucs get the 3rd seed. So you would play possibly the Green Bay Packers, or you may play the Commanders, which would be a rematch from the first game this year, where the Bucs were pretty dominant. Were they not? But you do have a rookie quarterback, and he's playing well, and he's got confidence. And this Bucs defense has struggled to a certain degree. But give them credit in that second half, because like they did last week against the Carolina Panthers, they shut the door. They did. Let's see here. You know I'm right. We got to get the NFC Championship game, in my opinion, for Bowles to save his job. Tied Rice, but takes not like that. Only receiver to have 1,000 every season. Shayna Windsor right there. DJ Kitty. Go Bucs to you. Absolutely. Let's go out to me, Sador. Mike Edwards' injury is huge. Hope it's nothing major. Robert, we made it in. Everybody, Bucs Nation. Eric, again. Panthers beat the Falcons. Crazy. Yes. Would you rather be the Atlanta Falcons? Remember when they had the 2-game lead where they beat the Bucs, where a lot of fans thought the season was over, right? They were 4-6, 5-6. All hope was lost. I told you, keep the faith. Keep the faith. This team is veteran laden. They got a coach that's been there. They got players that have been there. And listen, the schedule did it favor it. Absolutely. But you got to win your games. And they took care of business. All right. So you're exactly right. Get Chris Godwin back. Huge. We'll see. Congrats to the Bucs. Richard, what an epic last play to get Mike the record. Absolutely. And, I was having a conversation with somebody this week, and they said either other. What do you want? What do you want, Pete? Do you want Evans to get the record and lose? Or do you want the Bucs to win and Evans not get the record? And I said they coincide with each other. Why does somebody getting a record have to stop you from winning? In fact, it's going to improve the chances, because if you watch this team on a weekly basis, you know that when Mike Evans is involved in this offense is that much better. And look, credit to the Saints there in the first half. They shut down Mike Evans. They were bracketing coverage. They were game planning. But this is where coaching adjustments come into play. This is where Todd Bowles earns his money. This is where Liam Cohen could earn his money as being either a head coach in the National Football League or being the offensive coordinator of the Bucs. Getting a raise, making those adjustments, finding your playmakers, and they're able to do that with Mike Evans today. Let's go out to Jeff Quinn. If the Bucs keep Bowles, they have to figure out how to keep Cohen. Richard, agree, they have to keep him for sure. Dwayne Beatty, congratulations to you all. Win, you're all looking sharp. Thank you very much, Uncle D, right there. Let's go out to Noah. Again, I done told y'all you would love Baker when he signed him last year. It feels good to be right. It does, Noah. And I took your advice. I think we saw that last year with Baker Mayfield. We saw flashes of brilliance, but I thought at the beginning of the season, Baker was going to be better with this offense with Liam Cohen. I did. I thought they would get off to the ground and running with the wide receivers, with Chris Godwin coming back from injury. Of course, he gets hurt, but he was having a hell of a year before that. Let's go out to Michael Hulk Evans. Got 5 receptions as well. KR, hey, Peter and JP, we are back to back NFC South champs. Mike got 1K again. Love this team and this city. How can you not? How can you not love this? Let's go out to KR, the Falcons. Absolutely. I was sweating like crazy, but victory Monday right there. You're exactly right. Let's see. There we go. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Oh, something. Okay. That is better right there. I bite my tongue. What I said about Bowles trying the Saints for a division crown is insane. Let's go out to this guy right here, Mr. J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated, after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now four-time NFC South champions. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Evolution live here from Raymond James Stadium.
4-time consecutive NFC South champions, 5 straight years in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Life is good if you're a Bucs fan. It's maddening to get there, but it's been good for Bucs fans over the past 5 years here since Brady came and shifted the whole culture and everything like that. It kind of speaks to this Bucs team, resilient, kind of never back down, find a way. Baker kind of took over the game with those runs and some of those throws. I mean, that throw to McMillan was on a dime, and they get the go ahead touchdown to put them up. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion with Bucky, and you're sitting there, you're like, oh my God, like Mike 5 yards shy, and Bowles, he
describe the press box, because I was in the press box with you. You were sitting somewhere else. I guess you moved from me, so I didn't get a chance to pat you on the back today and tell you hello and our pleasantries there. Mista on a Sunday morning, but what was that press box like? Because I know I was in there. The energy, I felt like we were all turning into little kids at that point because we wanted to see Evans, because Evans is a great guy. He's a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's great in the community, and everybody knew that the Bucs somehow, some way, were going to get him this record, especially being 5 yards off. Talk about the atmosphere in the press box.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, we had all 4 Bucs game day there, so they had to move us over to another spot. So, yeah, we're actually with my guy Peter today. But, I feel like after the Bucs got that touchdown, I kind of clapped. I was like, oh, crap, can't do that.
Yeah.
Not supposed to root for teams here in the press box. But once, you saw that Bowles with the cojones of saying, you know what, hey, we get a turnover here, a pick 6, and this could be into overtime and whatever. But, trusting that his team and trusting that Baker would deliver a ball to Mike where he could get that and then be able to kneel it out. It was huge on Bowles, I think, for allowing the team to do that. And, yeah, man, even if you didn't want to, if you're not it doesn't matter. Everyone started clapping in the press box. It was an emotional time. I know tons of fans have told me they were crying through the moment and just celebrating. And it almost felt, and I was talking to some of the guys in the locker room, after this, like it felt good. Like, it was a weird feeling after the Bucky touchdown.
Yeah.
Because Mike didn't get it. Like, you were happy, but you're like, dang, you know? So when they're able to get that for him, I know a lot of guys are extremely happy. The game felt complete. It didn't feel like an incomplete game. Even though they won and go to the playoffs, it would have felt that way to some of the guys, and I think to a lot of fans too, if Mike didn't get that streak.
Talk about Baker Mayfield today. I mean, 41 touchdowns for the year, 16 interceptions, but I mean, it's just not stats with this guy. I mean, I just believe, JC, he is a direct reflection. That locker room was a direct reflection. The team, they rally around him. There was a moment in this game where this Bucs offense is struggling, and he takes off and gets stepped on by a defender. And it seemed like not only it fired up Baker, but it fired up this whole team. Talk about Mayfield and his impact for this team in 2024.
Absolutely. I mean, we've heard it before. Baker's an offensive lineman in the quarterback's body. Those guys got his back, and they rally around him. And when he, Baker loves chaos sometimes. And, you look at him and he's starting to take off. You're like, oh, God. But then he pulls off these amazing runs. He finished with a career-high rushing yards this season, career-high rushing yards for the season, for the game. And he gets these guys going. As soon as that little scrum broke out, I went up to Luke after Luke Gedeke after the game. I was like, who had to hold you back? Because I know you were about to get into some trouble. He just laughed it off, and it's like, we got to protect our quarterback. And as he goes, the Bucs go. It doesn't matter offensive, defensive side of the ball. When they see Baker putting everything and laying it out on the line, it makes everyone else play harder. Makes everyone want to play for him, want to play with him. And again, Tristan said it. Some of the other guys said it. Baker brings this every man's mentality, this working man mentality, and coming off of a switch with Tom Brady 2 years ago, where you're socialite, millionaire. It's a little bit of a different feeling in that locker room, and guys tend to rally around him and want to win and play hard for him when they see him playing hard for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on the phone here with JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. It's a Sports Web here live from Raymond James Stadium after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the New Orleans Saints to be the 4-time consecutive NFC South champs. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. You talk about Baker, but to me, the guy that's really stepped up, it's not necessarily Evans, because you're going to get that from Evans. It's on the defensive side of the ball, Levante David. It's Jalen McMillan for me. He's been the real X factor. Talk about McMillan and how he's really, helped this offense out, take it to the next level, in your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, since the bye week, he's been absolutely phenomenal. There really hasn't been much that he hasn't been able to do. Scoring 7 touchdowns in 5 straight games.
Wow.
Being able, since the bye week, he has 36 targets, 27 receptions, a 75% catch rate, 352 yards, 13 yards per catch average, and 7 touchdowns, including touchdown catch in 5 consecutive games.
Yeah. Tremendous.
That's a huge boost for the Bucs.
Yeah.
He looked special during training camp or preseason, and then got off to a slow start, was banged up a little bit. But after the bye weeks, he's been a phenomenal, tremendous part of this offense, and one that the Bucs really needed with the loss of Chris Godwin. Bucky Irving has taken over the backfield. Jalen McMillan's taken over that number 2 wide receiver role from guys like Sterling Shepard and anyone else who could step up. And he's taken it and ran with it. And it bodes well for them continuing the playoffs, but even for next year as well. I think most of us are on the assumption that Chris Godwin will be back. So to have a number 3 guy who can play like a number 2 guy is huge for this offense and huge for the consistency, especially if Liam does stick around and is the offensive coordinator. It's just great to build upon having him. And then Bucky Irving too. Like this guy, he's so elusive. He makes the first guys miss. He finishes over 1,000 yards on the ground. He's been a freshman man. This rookie class, they're late 3rd and they're mid 4th round pick. Both of these guys stepping up, especially after the bye week, Bucky now the starter, and really kind of pushing this Bucs team into the playoffs.
Yeah, you talk about Bucky Irving. I mean, you've been around him. You've been in this locker room. I mean, talk about that impact. And, the running game itself, the last couple of years has been last in the league, and now you get this kid 4th round out of Oregon. talk about him and what he's brought to this offense, JC.
Yeah, I mean, just everything you saw in college is translated, and that's really difficult too. We're talking about, a 5'10" back, less than 200 pounds. He's not a big guy, and his ability to make defenders miss in college has translated to the NFL.
Yeah.
He's one of the most elusive running backs in the NFL, and this is just his rookie year. As he continues to kind of get his feel. Remember, rookie year, there's so much going on.
Sure.
You're learning a new system, new team, new city, new coaches, new everything. And, while he's playing fast and free, and, there's definitely some plays where he's not following his track and his blockers and, cutting back too early, trying to make happen and defending. But, next year when he comes in and has a full off season, in the development program and knows the offense, if Cohen sticks around, the sky's the limit for this kid. I don't think he's going to be I don't think you could ask him to be a true 30 carry type of back.
Right.
But a guy who can touch the ball 20 times a game, whether through the air and the pass, and do damage to the team.
Yeah, he's definitely dynamic, and he's brought something to this offense that they absolutely needed. With that being said, talking about the offensive coordinator and Liam Cohen, you're close. What have you heard? A lot of fans say he could go to New England. He could go to Chicago. I say that, what's the rush at the end of the day? You're happy with your situation. You have a great offense. Maybe you're the next coach of this team. What have you heard, if anything, at this point with the Cohen situation? And in your opinion, do you think the Bucs have a succession plan here where they've talked to Cohen and said, maybe you are the coach in waiting eventually if Todd Bowles decides to retire?
I don't think those conversations have happened yet. But I do know the Blazers need to do whatever they can to make sure that he remains on this Buccaneers team.
Okay.
You really can't let him go anywhere. Now, I do know kind of close to the situation that it's going to take a really good spot.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to do what Dave did and just go to an opportunity because there's only 32 of them. Spot, fit, organizational stability, all that stuff is going to matter to him. As far as the Patriots, New England boy, grew up in Rhode Island, played at UMass. I don't think this is an attractive spot for a guy like Liam Cohen. Yes, they got a young quarterback who looks like he could be, a franchise guy, but their offensive line, wide receivers, running back situation, they don't have any attractive pieces on that team. You'd have to build to the draft. And, they just, with that meaningless win, they just lost the first overall draft pick and bumped down to the 4. So, even a guy like Travis Hunter is gone, if you were going to consider him, will likely be gone by 4.
Right.
They need offensive line help more so, but they just kind of screwed themselves, especially if they knew they were going to fire Jerron Mayo, regardless if he won or not. Maybe you should have made that move prior to this game to ensure that you kept the first-round pick. But it's going to take a really good system, a really good organizational stability, and him coming into a situation that's going to be good. Those opportunities don't open up often. With the Bucs, they just happen to open up the last 2 years. But I think that's what it's going to take, and I don't see that unless a surprise opening happens. I believe in what he says that it is his dream to be a head coach, but he's not in a rush, and I don't think he needs to be in a rush. He's only 39 years old. There's going to be more opportunities for him down the line. I don't see this offense regressing.
Yeah.
If anything, I see it taking a step forward. With guys like Graham Barton in year 2, and Bucky and Jalen, and Devin Culp, and all these other guys. Godwin if he comes back. I see them taking at least remaining status quo, or maybe taking a step forward. Small step back, if anything, but nothing that's going to put him out of position where he can go after his dream. I think he sticks around. I think the Blazers probably have to pay a little bit more for it, but I don't think he goes anywhere, to be honest with you.
Final thoughts here, JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Do a great job, bang-up job. Definitely got to promote yourself here before you leave. But who do you think, Bucs fan? Who do you want? Who would you prefer to play if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? It looks like Seattle could win this game versus the Rams. The Bucs would be third. They could possibly play the Packers, the Commanders, or if they end up with the 4th, possibly end up playing the Lions or the Vikings. Who do you think, or who would you prefer the Bucs to play here in the first round at Raymond James Stadium?
Well, Packers are out because they lost. Bears came back on.
Oh wow, I'm
last
sorry.
second.
I am remiss because I thought the Packers were in, but there you go. It's been a long day. The Packers are out. So
I didn't realize till a little while ago either, man. Bears came back and won. So
yeah.
Packers are out. So if the Rams lose, then yes, it would be a Washington Commanders coming in here. Bucs would have the 3 seed, and then if the Rams somehow win, and it was a close game last I looked. I think it was like 19-16 Seattle.
Yeah.
Then you're playing the loser of the Vikings and Lions, and I don't think that's the first round test you want. The Lions are banged up on defense. There's some ways to exploit Minnesota, but with your secondary banged up the way it is, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison really kind of sound kind of scary.
Yeah.
As does the trio of St. Brown, Laporta, and Jameson Williams. So, the number 3 seed obviously gets you further, right?
Yeah.
If for some reason the Packers the Packers beat the Eagles next week, now you're looking at potentially hosting 2 games as a number 3 seed. So number 3 seed against Commanders, they just got to make sure that they put the game away early, or at least don't let Jaden Daniels have an opportunity, because he is a comeback king so far this season, being able to get the Commanders into these situations where they win late or they win in overtime. Last week was against Atlanta.
Yeah.
This week was like pretty much time expiring against the Cowboys. They're able to get the win there. So I think every team presents different threats that the Bucs will have to try to mitigate, but they also prevent different matchups I think the Bucs can take, exploit. But for the first round, I don't think you want to face a 14-team winning team.
Right.
I think the Commanders sound like the best bet if you're the Bucs, and you get that 3 seed as well.
Good stuff. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. Once again, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Yeah, it's a pleasure hopping on. I tried to get down there on set with you guys, but I had to finish up my story, and then
it's all good, bro. Priorities. We know how this works, my friend. We know how you do.
But yeah, check us out over at Bucs Game Day on Sports Illustrated. We got tons of stories up after the game, post game, during the game. I will have tons of breakdown on it throughout the week, looking at the matchups, looking at matchup history, stats, players to watch out for, all that fun stuff coming your way this week at Bucs Game Day. Power Parlay Podcast, check me out there on YouTube, and then as always on X, JC Allen NFL, posting stuff daily. So appreciate you for having me on. Appreciate you, Bucs Nations. Let's go. 4 consecutive NFC South titles, 5 trips to the playoffs. I don't think the Bucs are done yet. I'll be back on to talk to you soon, Peter. Let's get this popping.
Yeah, let's definitely get a popping, my friend. We'll see you this week here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, all right?
Sounds good. Talk to you then.
Mister. There you go. He's out of there right there, Mr. J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. You never know who's going to come on. You had TJ Reeves, the media icon of the Buccaneer Radio Network. You have J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. We have your phone calls if you want them. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Talking Tampa Bay Buccaneer football with you, recapping it. So we'll continue to read these comments, and then we will get out of here for the night. It looks like there's no rain in the forecast, so I will not be rushing off the field to save my laptop. And it is a new laptop, so we can go for as long as you want to go, or as long as I don't get tired. The Falcons, yes, the Falcons. I was sweating like crazy, but it's Victory Monday tomorrow. That it is. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution Live here from Raymond James Stadium after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 4-time NFC South champions. How does that feel?
Feels pretty good. Who is this? Peter Blake?
This is Peter Blake. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You got to get more excited than that. Come on now.
This Nissan, bro. How you doing,
What's
man?
up, Nissan? How you doing, brother? It was great to meet you the other night. At first, when I met you, it was about 2:30 in the morning, and I got to paint this picture like a Picasso. I'm out there driving Uber. I'm walking by. I see a lovely lady, and I'm not going to lie, I looked a little bit, and then I hear her say, hey, that guy over there, he wants to talk to you. I was like, oh no, man, that's his girl. I looked at her wrong, something like that. I look back and it's Nissan Taylor, one of my Bucs brothers who watches this show, man. It was great to meet you. It's always great to meet Bucs fans out there, even at 2:30 in the morning at Wawa. It's great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I was super bummed when I thought Mike wasn't gonna get those yards, bro. And definitely appreciate you. It was my wife's birthday, actually.
Well,
So
happy
that's why we were out in
birthday.
that
Happy
area.
birthday to her. What did you guys end up
thanks,
doing
bro.
there on New Year's Eve?
Man, we hit the Hard Rock. We went
Okay.
and ate over at what is it, Miller's.
Okay.
And just partied a bit. My sister actually owns I forget the club up there in Tampa that had the shooting that night. So I'm glad we didn't end up going there. But beyond that,
yeah,
dude, I tell you what, about that game though, bro, I'm stoked. Bro, I was actually in my feelings a bit when I didn't think we were gonna get Mike those 5 yards. I thought Bucky had took that opportunity, but once he was able to get him, dude, it was it was an emotional moment.
It was
all those yards, dude.
It's an emotional moment because you feel emotionally tied to a player like Mike Evans. And why? Because he's in the community. He has the Mike Evans Foundation. He's been a stalwart Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He's been consistent. You want to see him be successful.
He's helped make us great. He's through the Jameis Winston years.
Yes.
And
Josh McCown and the greatness
dude.
of Napoleon Dynamite, a.k.a. Mike Glennon. I mean,
Vincent Jackson.
Yes.
And, he's been with us for forever.
Forever.
He's well-deserved of every yard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad to see him do it. And I think the Bucs organization was going to get him the record today, and that was their focus, and it should be.
Oh,
it's also got to be on winning the game. Yes.
As soon as we made that stop, and I seen Cohen and them over there in the corner chatting, I'm like, yeah, they're going to get Mike what he deserves. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna happen.
And we know he's 5 yards away, and people go, oh, my God, Bucky Irving scored. It's over with. And I said, listen, it's never over. The defense made one of the biggest stops of the year. And again, Bucs fans, you just absolutely lambaste Todd Bowles and this defense. They made one of the biggest stops of the year because they don't make that stop against the Saints. You don't get the record with Mike Evans. So once again, put respect on Todd Bowles' name and that defense.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah,
exactly.
Put some respect on him.
Understand. They don't understand the greatness. What is all? I know he wasn't the coach 5 years ago, but it's been 5 straight years. Right?
Yes. Well, he's been a defensive coordinator. No, I don't know what you're missing. I mean, I feel like we're in the twilight zone. You know me. I'm old school. I've been watching the Bucs since I was 8 years old. I remember the blackouts. I remember, going to school and wearing the orange creamsicle jacket in 7th grade and somebody trying to burn a hole in my jacket and still wear it, whether they won or lost or not, and getting the jacket signed by Paul Gruber. I remember those years of, being the spoiler. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be the Saints? Who wants to be the Carolina Panthers or now the Falcons, where you're sitting at home? You don't want that. You want playoff football. You need playoff football, and we're going to have playoff football next weekend.
Like the owner of the Raiders used to say, man. He used to say, just win, baby.
Just
we're winning.
Win, baby.
Go Bucs.
Absolutely. Go Bucs. Anything else, my friend?
That's it, man. It's great to see you, man. I'll be watching, bro.
You better be watching. Don't be a stranger here, Nissan. It was great meeting you, my Bucs brother, and we'll see you soon here on the Evolution, all right?
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right, good stuff there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll continue to read these comments and also, once again, take your phone calls. You didn't pull the trigger on the throw when Evans was open because he's too short and couldn't see over the lineman. Just missed it, missed that play and then missed the deep play there. It was a little bit off. Baker will say, just be a little bit patient. Give it one more second. It's easy to say because we're watching it, but he has Evans wide open on that. You got to hit that play, but they get him the yards. Evans, baby, absolutely. Playoff week. It is playoff week. Absolutely. Let's go out to Mike. Do the Falcons still own the tiebreaker? They do not. As you're laughing, laugh out loud. Jeff Quinn just had to throw that in there, but no lie, Mayfield balled out this year. Absolutely balled out. Hillbilly Hitman, that's an interesting name. I think the Saints let Mike have that catch. Fair enough. Per NFL rules, the Bucs can keep teams from interviewing Liam Cohen as long as they are still in the playoffs, says Michael LaRue. Donald, right there. People were on the edge of their seats and were already had the game won because you want to see Evans get the record. Who didn't want to see him get it? Who doesn't want to see this player who is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? No doubt. With the level of consistency for 11 consistent years, with not playing with, the greatest collection of quarterbacks. People look at Brady. Brady wasn't always here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hate to tell you. You had Jameis Winston. You had Mike Glennon. You had Josh McCown. Now you got Baker Mayfield. Again, not the greatest collection of quarterbacks. It was not. I think I was more excited for Mike than I was for the Bucs winning. Unbelievable, says Gary. Good stuff there, Gary. Peter, if you remember, I said that McMillan was going to have to step up, and he absolutely has. Sean, you're absolutely correct. He had to step up, and he has been a different player. And this was the player that we saw in the offseason. I shouldn't say the offseason. The offseason with training camp that we got excited about. You didn't see in the first half. And I don't know what it was. But the second half, the lights have turned on. As my dad would say, once those lights turn on, you can be dangerous. And McMillan has been dangerous for this team. So you're absolutely right. Virgin Boys, give Mike a statue. Absolutely. Mike, I hope McMillan keeps using those celebration. Yes. Eric was mad about that too. Jeff, Saints defense always plays hard. A lot of all-time dirty. I bet if you watch this film, you'll see a ton of attempted dirty hits the Bucs were trying to avoid because they knew it was coming. Absolutely. Eric says agree. Eric again was a heated moment. Michael, Jared Mayo fired. You're gone. Done. Patriots fired Mayo. Anthony Joseph, let's go out to you here. Read your comments. Liam needs to take over as head coach and send Bulls back to defense. Not happening right now. Dave England, let's just enjoy the win. Get ready for the playoffs. The coaching stuff will come soon enough. That's a good comment. I wish I had my sound effects, but I don't got it. Michael says, all right, enough about Bulls. Bucs basement, we are playoff bound. LFG, breaking news, Mayo fired from the Pats. Like the shirt. The shirt is nice. That TJ showed before. Let's keep on rolling. I think that's what the Bucs shirt said, so we'll have to get that when we get an opportunity. Baker Mayfield put this team on his back in this game. Tampa has a franchise quarterback. Thank you, Cleveland. Well said, TJ, says Donald. Michael, Dave England, right. If I wasn't for Baker running those few drives, we're not winning. Anthony, we had a bad game. Next game, we ball out. Dave, fact, game on. I'm with you, Bucs Basement. I'm happy that we won. I'm happy for ME13, but Todd Bowles, D26 in the NFL. I don't want to lose Liam Cohen for Todd Bowles. I get that, but also I would say just let it play out. Let's see how this plays out. Falcons. Yes, Michael. Seattle is up 17-10 last time we checked, 17-13. Looks like the Commanders so far. Seahawks winning. Michael, Bucs shot to the Falcons. Jeff, if Lattimore was in the game, it would be a fight all game. Evans would be locked and double teamed all game except for that one play when he gets an 85-yard touchdown. I like it. Eric, Seahawks 17-10. Noah, absolutely not. I want the Lions. 17-10 now, says Megan. BS, Peter. It's not prime time. It's Bucs playing crap against crap teams. Bucs playing tough against tough teams. Okay, Bucs D finished 17-game season with only 7 interceptions. Eric, don't want prime time. Christopher Cole, how bad is the Falcons defense? Awful. Is that a surprise? Yeah, I hate to gloat. Like, I feel like I'm being obnoxious, if you will. But who told you on this show? Like, who told you? Everybody, again, screaming at the top of the rooftops how great the Falcons were. And I get it. They beat the Bucs twice. But I told you they had some defensive problems, did I not? I told you that Kirk Cousins was not a good quarterback, and he showed that this year. And then they went to Michael Penix, who definitely has a good future, right? Could be their future franchise quarterback. But you had a chance to get an offensive lineman. You had a chance to get a defensive lineman. You had a chance to get better on both sides of the ball, and instead you drafted a quarterback. And everybody believed that the Falcons were so supremely talented over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I told you they weren't. Just got to believe in this organization. That's all I can say. How bad is the Falcons defense? Bad. Can we get Godwin back? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. Michael, Jaden Daniels left at halftime because of leg soreness. Michael, again, Bucs have a problem, but Baker isn't one of them. Jeff, I say bring on primetime playing devil's advocate. Bucs play a level of their teams. We already beat most of the best teams in the league. Barely lost to what everyone considers best team in overtime to the refs and their favorite team. Good point, Jeff. Appreciate that. Bucs play to the level of their competition sometimes. Look out for Cohen now that Mayo was fired from the Patriots. That is not a great situation to go into. We just talked to JC about it, Tulio. You know, just because that job is opened up doesn't necessarily mean Liam Cohen is running to New England. And oh, by the way, Bill Belichick ain't coming through the door, and neither is Tom Brady. That team has not been good. Let's go out to Sean Osborne, Isaac Hayes. What a win. And Gorilla Balls, absolutely, by Todd Bowles on that 4th and 8 play. Like, how can you not love that call? Right? Like, I don't want to get descriptive here, but I'll go with the wrestling term. Testicular fortitude, right? For you attitude guys out there, testicular fortitude is what Todd Bowles had on that 4th and 8 play. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. But he did Baker deliver to Evans. Every box check. We have a top quarterback in the NFC. Why not us? Why not? Why not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I get it. They're so friggin' inconsistent, right? Up and down. You know, one week you want to fire Todd Bowles, and next week he's the best coach ever to some of you. The defense is up and down, although the second quarter, the second half, they play lights out. They shut down teams. The offense, they can score 30, 35 points a game without Chris Godwin, without the majority of their weapons. Why not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Why rule them out? You never know. You just got to get in. You get in, and you're in. And you know what happens after that. Will be the next head coach in New England. That would make sense. I'm so glad Mike got his 1,000 yards. Wasn't a pretty win, but a win is a win. Now we have to become Seattle fans, okay? Michael says Cohen came to Tampa for Baker, is not going anywhere. I like that little Bruce Arians reference there from JP and you. That's good. Make Liam Cohen the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league. Head coach in waiting. Like that. Also, let's go out to Michael. Seahawks lead Rams 17-13 at halftime. Eric, how about go to the highest bidder? It's not all about money all the time, Eric. You know, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's not. Ask Dave Canales. That team has played better, but is that a great situation with the Carolina Panthers? It's a coaching job, but I necessarily wouldn't say it's the best. I don't know. Chiefs letting the Broncos in the playoffs, and if Denver is not getting them out of the playoffs, would be epic. Laugh out loud. Money talks. Jeff, it sounds like we're all on consensus here. Bowles for defensive coordinator, Cohen for offensive head coach. If he's ready for it now, maybe in a couple of years. There's no way that Todd Bowles is going to be a defensive coordinator of this team. He's either going to be the head coach or he's going to be fired, and Liam Cohen is going to be the head coach. Get that out of your mind. That's grandiose ideas. There's no way that's going to happen. It's either one or the other. So let's go out to Michael. Payne Durham has also stepped up as well. Second touchdown today. We the Thunder. Let's go Bucs. We're in, baby. Absolutely. Thomas. Bet we have to go through Philly as usual. Not a bad thing because guess what? The Bucs have beat Philly. The Bucs have beat the Lions. I get it. It's early in the season. You want to make excuses? It's not an excuse, but injuries happen. No A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, but they still beat them. They beat them last year in the playoffs. Playoffs. Let's go out to Gary. This year's draft class is so freaking good. Jamie, Seattle's winning, but so is Washington as of now. Let's go out to Mike. If Detroit beats Minnesota tonight, then we play the Vikings. You know I'm right. Roger Shue is great at losing bets. He is. Christopher Cole, Packers will be one and done. Bucs tight end group is looking better as well. Otten being out. Culp and Durham has stepped up. Anthony Joseph. Healthy defense. We are top 5 team next year. Need an edge rusher. Got to get an edge rusher. I believe in this team, but you know the edge rush, the pass rush, it needs to be better, and it hasn't been consistent enough. You haven't gotten enough from Yaya Diaby. You haven't got enough from your edge at the end of the day. Anthony Nelson, some plays there, but guys are not winning the one-on-one matchups. Talk about JTS not winning the one-on-one matchups. Shaq Barrett may help. I don't know. We'll see. But the pass rush has got to be better, and it necessarily hasn't. I really think there are some Bucs fans that don't realize how lucky we have to be in the last 5 years, how lucky we are to have to watch Mike Evans, Levante David all these years. Enjoy it. Absolutely. Greg Cole, hell yeah. Way to flip the script. Come back. Got out a big championship win. Thank you. Congratulations, Mike, for getting the record and for all you've done and mean all to the Bucs Nation and football. Now let's go. Let's go out to TJC22. If you don't think other players around the league saw what Tampa Bay was willing to risk for that, not only in that moment, but for the final drive, you live under a rock. Players want to be in that. Players want to be a part of great organizations that take care of their players. Jason Light takes care of his own players. When Baker Mayfield balled out last year, they negotiated a new contract. When Mike Evans and what he's done for his history for this team, they get him signed somehow, some way. He may not be necessarily the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the National Football League, but guess what? He's a guy that is respected in the Tampa Bay community and by this organization. That's why he got this record today. And you're absolutely correct. That's what players look at and they love. They do. All right, let's go out to Dave. That's something that's been mentioned a lot. We have a lot of rookies set up and contributing this year. Again, Jason has another great draft. Let's go out to Gloria from the UK. Such a great win. Wow, so pleased for Mike. If we don't go very far, have to be happy with the season. Another shot at the playoffs with all the injuries. Have to be pleased. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Let's go out to Michael. Seahawks leading the Rams 24-16. Let's go Bucs, says Bigga. Bigga again. They said we would play in the Rams. Nissan, let's go. Bigga again. Oh, no, I looked at that wrong. They're showing either the Rams or the Bucs will be the 3 or 4 seed. If the Rams lose, the Bucs are your 3rd seed. How about that, huh? 3rd seed, and they would play the 6th seed. Peter writes, Blake, man, I was so worried about Mike and those two brother, but got him what he deserved. Absolutely. I was so bummed, super bummed when it appeared Mike wasn't going to get the 1,000. Proud he got it. Big up. Search you true. Bigga, let's go Bucs. Buccaneers roll as the Buccaneers roll right into the playoffs. Buccaneers fight song and anthem. We will get you on the evolution, and we will definitely promote that as we are wrapping up here at Raymond James Stadium. How about Bowles letting Mike get his 1,000 yards? My brother was nervous thinking it was going to be Seahawks versus the Patriots moment with the possibility of pick 6 or something so-called. Todd had balls today. He absolutely did. And he's definitely deserved that. Bigga, the Falcons do own the tiebreaker, but we're not tied. They are 8-9. We are 10-7. Wow, they fired Mayo. Megan, well, they were hype about getting Carlton Davis. Florida born and raised. Todd Bowles is doing good. Who cares? Dave, also, don't forget, they touted Pitts for the Falcons, and he's starting to look like a possible borderline bust. Yes, he is. Healthy defense. We are a top 5 team next year. Appreciate the comment. Todd Bowles brought in Dave. Now, Liam, stop the Bowles hate. He was out. Our defensive coordinator for our Super Bowl. Correct. That is absolutely correct. And I get it. Bowles is not perfect by any means. Nobody is. With the coaching, decisions there, clock management, some decisions this year, playing conservative. I know it drives a lot of Bucs fans crazy. But enjoy this moment. 4-time NFC South champions. I never get tired of saying it. That's why I'm here right now. Look at this. There is nobody around. Nobody around but us. Us. This team is the NFC South champions. And we're here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You got to love it. Enjoy the moment. We have really good tight ends. Just saying I like Culp and Durham. Love that Culp is getting time. Nissan. Facts being used him a lot on Madden. Let me go out to Tristan. Cohen is good for OC, but people thinking he's going to do more than interview for a head coaching job is laughable. Read the room. There's a long list of coaching names. Liam could possibly be at the top. And before they mentioned Canales, he went to Carolina, and they're a fourth coach in 5 years. Yes. And the last comment of the night, he said, correct, Peter. The organization takes care of their players. That's why Chris Godwin will be back with the Bucs. Yes, I think it also helps with the injury. It's not a good thing because Godwin was knocking out of the park with leading the NFL with receptions, but they're going to take care of him. And if Chris Godwin wants to be here, And the Bucs want him here, and Jason Light. And listen, if you're Chris Godwin, I continue to go like, I'm not in la-la land here. Look at how dynamic, look at how explosive this offense can be. With Baker Mayfield, 41 touchdowns this year. It's friggin' tremendous. Mike Evans, who he's close to. Cade Otton, who's getting better. Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, an improved offensive line. An organization that is willing to go to all links to win. That's why Chris Godwin's going to stay. That's why players continue to come back. Let me go out to Florida, born and raised. Tampa Bay, NFC South champs again. With the way this team is playing this year, no matter what happens, 2025, this team is going to be a juggernaut. Cap space, Godwin returning, and our young core coming into their own. Look out, league. Yes, the league has been put on notice. It has been by all the young, talented players that this Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization continues to showcase week after week after week. And your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the playoffs. I mean, what's better than that? Again, I know some of you are diehard fans. I know you're new fans. I don't give a damn. You're in the playoffs. Playoffs, you got another week. And this game, this is a game no Bucs fan will forget. Go Bucs. So to recap it, what a day. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers come back. They beat the New Orleans Saints 27-19, led by who else? Baker Mayfield with the scrambles, 2 touchdowns, an impressive call there on 4th and 8 with Jalen McMillan, even picking up a penalty right there. That should show you everything you need to know. And, of course, the other story of the day, Mike Evans gets his 1,000 yards, 11 consecutive season, 9 catches for 89 yards, including the 8-yard one at the end of the game, so everybody can go home happy. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks to the great TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show, which will be live tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And as always, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake, and do 3 things for me. You ready? Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, including you Bucs fans, it's your time. Bucs win 10-7 for the year, 4th consecutive NFC South title. It's victory Sunday night, and it's victory Monday for all you Bucs fans. Continue to tune in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. We'll see you soon here on Monday night on a Victory Monday, and, of course, on a Wednesday night here on a Happy Hump Day edition, live here right now from Raymond James Stadium. Guys, have a good night, and once again, Bucs win the NFC South.